What is your take on the Chinese government publicly ramping up its efforts in AI?
This is a clear directive coming from the top ranks of the Chinese government saying we want to be the global leader in this area. We no longer want to be a follower of Western technologies. They saw Western companies really become the dominant players in software and chips, and they're saying AI is still an emerging technology and we still have room and time to beat out the competition.
For Google, you have Baidu. For Amazon, they have AliExpress. For Uber, they have Didi. For Sora, they have Vidu. For Boston Dynamics, they have Stardust. And for everything else, we have WeChat. Every 2 decades, there comes an enabling technology that changes everything. Back in the 20th century, it was electricity, and now it is artificial intelligence. The United States is the worldwide leader in AI. But not only is China trying to catch up, they are also eyeing potential domination. Why? Because AI has become a critical facet of the economic and military competition that will define the century for both the superpower US and China. So what's the plan? How is China strategizing to become an AI supergiant? And what are the hurdles in between? That's what we are here to find out. In November, a year after ChatGPT's launch, a relatively obscure Chinese startup swiftly ascended to the peak of a leaderboard evaluating open-source systems. This company, O1.ai, merely 8 months old, boasted considerable financial backing and a staggering $1 billion valuation. It was spearheaded by the renowned investor and technologist Kai-Fu Lee. And in his interviews, Mr. Lee positioned his AI system as a competitive alternative to offerings like Meta's generative AI model, Llama. However, there's a catch. A portion of the technology embedded in O1.ai's system originated from Llama. Mr. Lee's startup essentially piggybacked on Meta's technology, enhancing its own system by training it with fresh data to amplify its capabilities. A recent Deloitte survey underscores China's substantial commitment to AI research and development, with governmental pledges to inject tens of billions of dollars into AI endeavors. This dedication is evident in the burgeoning landscape of AI startups within China, which in 2017, for the first time, secured 48% of global AI venture funding, outpacing the United States. Moreover, China boasts the world's second largest contingent of AI companies, trailing only behind the United States, and hosts SenseTime Group Limited, the globe's most valuable AI company. The data illustrates a notable surge in investments specifically within China's AI sector over the years, with 2022 witnessing investments totaling 118 billion yuan. Notably, China's AI investment isn't solely driven by government initiatives. Private entities like Alibaba-backed SenseTime Group Limited have also poured substantial resources into AI, with the latter securing a whopping $600 million in 2018, catapulting it to the status of the world's most valuable AI startup. China's distinctive socialist market economy, coupled with government intervention in market dynamics, has facilitated a symbiotic relationship between businesses and the state. This synergy has empowered Beijing to expand its AI initiatives across diverse industries to augment the country's GDP by 26.1% by 2030. From here, we can jot down 2 key takeaways. Number 1, China is investing heavily in artificial intelligence, and number 2, it is somehow making use of Western progress to outcompete the United States. Don't worry, because I am going to give you a detailed outlook after we gather all impact points. This autumn, the Western Hemisphere has surged with a flurry of AI endeavors, declarations, and multinational agreements. Notably, the Biden administration's executive order and the UK's Bletchley Declaration have been the cornerstones for the efforts to establish global regulations for this rapidly evolving, competitive, and potentially hazardous technology. Meanwhile, China is charting its own course, diverging from the Western narrative. This approach could potentially afford China a strategic advantage while the West engages in discourse. Over 140 cities globally, spanning from Kuala Lumpur to Nairobi to Quito, are undergoing a transformation into Chinese fortified safe cities and smart cities, harnessing AI to revolutionize traffic management, logistics, and law enforcement. China has already solidified its dominance in exporting AI-powered facial recognition technology, disseminating its advanced surveillance capabilities worldwide, which appears to be a trend poised to escalate further. Through initiatives like the widely embraced Luban Workshop, China is leading a global vocational training drive, equipping thousands across the globe with AI expertise, particularly in developing nations. Furthermore, Chinese tech firms are playing a pivotal role in establishing the United Arab Emirates' leading AI entity, which boasts of co-creating the world's largest AI supercomputer. From here, we can gather two more takeaways. Number 1, China is expanding its global technological relationships, and number 2, the country is planning to take the lion's share of the global market, while the West remains in talks. Beijing has already invested heavily in constructing extensive global infrastructure via its Belt and Road Initiative, aiming to foster economic dependence and political allegiance. Part of the Belt and Road Initiative holds the potential to serve as a more cost-effective, expedited, and influential avenue for China to expand its sphere of influence. The transmission of data could ultimately emerge as a significantly more impactful political instrument than the movement of physical goods like cars and trains. If China's proactive AI strategy proves successful, it could spell disaster for American interests overseas. In order to rival China's initiatives, the United States must approach a significantly broader approach to empower other nations with the necessary education, resources, and infrastructure to catalyze their own AI endeavors. If the United States aims to genuinely take the helm in the global AI landscape, it must not only lead discussions regarding regulatory frameworks, but also establish the groundwork for disseminating AI technology worldwide. Failure to do so could result in ceding ground to Beijing. China also has a significant advantage in terms of data volume that can be used to train AI learning algorithms. With more than 1 billion internet users, China has ample data resources available for AI development. This leads us to another takeaway. China has what is required to fuel an AI ascend, and it has become a part of national policy to become a worldwide leader in artificial intelligence. Now that we have all the impact points retrieved, it's time to connect the dots to evaluate China's upcoming transgression as an AI mogul. First of all, just like electricity, AI requires a truckload of financial resources to democratize. An estimate suggests that AI requires a sizable chunk of the global economy to materialize the dystopian future tech moguls like Sam Altman promise. China is putting in the financial resources. China is making worldwide ties to democratize their technology. China has all the data it needs to become a supreme entity in AI. Then, where lies the problem? For that, we need to refer back to the second takeaway point that we discussed in the first chapter of this video. The problem China faces is the lack of human and hardware resources, and the situation is emblematic of a reality that many in China openly admit. Jenny Zhao, a partner at Leonis Capital, an investment firm specializing in AI-powered enterprises, remarked that AI models originating from scratch in Chinese companies often lack quality, prompting many to rely on refined iterations of Western models. She assessed that China trails the United States by 2 to 3 years in terms of advancements in generative AI technologies. To bridge this gap, Chinese firms often end up making use of open-source technologies, like the case of Llama we discussed earlier. This newfound dependence on AI systems from the United States has sparked profound inquiries into the country's innovation framework. Over recent decades, China has astounded observers by nurturing globally competitive companies such as Alibaba and ByteDance, despite the authoritarian grip of Beijing. But why can't they replicate the same in the case of AI? This is a big question that often leaves Chinese experts scratching their heads. Tech investors in China have also pressed for swift results from AI endeavors, diverting funds towards easily achievable applications rather than more ambitious ventures focused on foundational research. A mind-boggling 50% of China's AI investment has been directed towards company vision technology, crucial for surveillance rather than establishing groundwork for generative AI models. Presently, major players like Baidu, Alibaba, dairy company Mi Yingyou, and tutoring firm TAL Education have joined the generative AI race in China, prompting Chinese media to dub it the Battle of 100 Models to capture the fervor. Critics have condemned this free-for-all as merely publicity stunts, which leads to unnecessary competition. During a panel discussion last year, Robin Li, Baidu's chief executive, characterized the proliferation of hundreds of basic AI models as wasteful and demanded for more hardware resources. And this is where the US is currently playing its trump card. The US has banned chip exports to China as part of an effort to prevent China from acquiring or producing advanced chips used for artificial intelligence and other high-tech military applications. This ban is potent enough to make the Chinese AI infrastructure suffer. Many companies have reported significant losses due to the sanctions, leading to lost sales and market share as China seeks alternative suppliers. The ban has also created uncertainty and planning difficulties for Chinese tech companies, as it is now apparent that they could be cut off from crucial products and services at any moment. Not only that, this move has been seen as a move to keep China down and has been likened to a declaration of economic war, leading to an East-West tech divide. Despite these sanctions, China is trying to fight back. It's speculated that restrictions like these could serve as a catalyst for the ever-resilient country to narrow the technological divide in the long run, fostering greater self-sufficiency in the semiconductor industry. Some analysts and industry insiders even anticipate that China will surmount these obstacles and ultimately emerge with heightened resilience in the technology sector. But in which direction will the camel finally settle? Only time can tell. The Chinese humanoid sector is going off the charts with the enticing release of a new humanoid that competes directly with OpenAI's Figure 1. To see why, click the video links popping up.